And may we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Cross, Commissioner Hertzler,
Here.
Commissioner Eichelberger, and Deputy Controller Teresa.
Present.
Okay, is there any public comment to come before the salary board this afternoon? Okay, hearing none. Motion to approve the minutes of November 9, 2015.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Minutes are adopted. Approval of the salary board actions. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made. Is there a second? Second. Any questions or comments relative to the salary board actions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Is there any other business to come before the salary board? Hearing none, we'll adjourn. Please stand. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hertzler,
Here.
Commissioner Eichelberger,
Okay, is there any public comment to come before the board? I see that we have in attendance today, acknowledge Commissioner-elect D. Filippo joining us. Welcome, Vince. We'll be sitting over here on this side here, coming up here pretty soon. Good to have you here. Looking forward to working with you.
Look forward to working with all of you.
Okay, approval of the minutes of November 5, 2015 and November 9, 2015. Is there a motion? So, second. Any questions on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of the personnel transactions. Is there a motion to approve them? So, second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of the budget adjustments resolution 2015-29, which was the adjustments were discussed at the workshop on November 19th. Is there a motion? So, and I'll second that. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Any motion adopted. Approval of change order number 2 for the bridge maintenance project. Change order adds $7,295 of maintenance work to our existing contract. This was also reviewed at the workshop meeting on November the 19th. I'll make a motion to approve the change order. Is there a second? Second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. This is carried. Approval of a letter of support for Hamden Township's PennDOT multimodal transportation fund application. This was also discussed on November 19th. Is there a motion to approve that letter of support? So, and I'll second it. Any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of the capital project requests, and I guess we'll take these individually. First of all, the facilities management, NCH third floor renovations, total project cost $21,000. Is there a motion to approve that capital project? So, second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion's adopted. The security door locking system at the nursing home for $28,000. Is there a motion to approve that capital project request? So, second. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We have various contracts and grants that were discussed also at our workshop. And if we can take these together, the 10A through 10H, is there a motion to approve those contracts and grants? So, and I will second. Are there any questions on any of these? Okay. Hearing Item number 11 is approval of the bid from CenturyLink that was reviewed in the workshop for telephone services for Cumberland County. Is there a motion to approve that, the award of that contract? Second, any further questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Approval of commercial revitalization and shop steady loan program request regarding Shawneetown Distillery located at 324 Market Street in Cumberland, which was also discussed at our workshop. Is there a motion to approve that shop steady loan? Second. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Approval of our letter of support for the Carlisle Airport PennDOT multimodal transportation funding application. Is there a motion to approve that? Second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. A number of appointments. Approval for reappointment of Wilbur Wolf Jr. to the Conservation District Board of Directors for a 4-year term as the Public Director Representative for a term a new term that will expire December 31, 2019, and the appointment of Michael Berkheimer to the Conservation District Board of Directors for a 4-year term as the Farmer Representative, also the term expiring December 31, 2019. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
Any questions or comments?
It's answered,
Yeah, Mr. Wolf is the public representative on the board, and the others the former rep. All right, any further comments? None? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, the motion is adopted. I'd also like to make a motion for reappointment of Nan Adams, Aaron D. Miller, Aaron Pierce McLean, and Betty McArrow to the Aging Advisory Board for new 3-year terms that would expire December 31, 2018. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted.
Sure. As discussed in the workshop Friday, we have reappointments from the Planning Commission. John and Leonard Tranowski both are eligible for second terms, which expressed interest in being reappointed and have become recommended for the Planning Commission. So I'd like to make a motion that we appoint to second term for the dates listed there, expiring December 31, 2019.
And I will second the motion. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. We have a revision to the on-call policy that was discussed previously, and so we need a motion to approve that revision to the on-call policy.
I'll move for adoption.
And I will second. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. There is a tentative contract agreement that is coming before the board here this afternoon for final approval with AFSCME relative to a new contract down at the nursing home. Liz, could maybe address some of the key elements of this contract?
Absolutely. I have some bullet points here that was requested just to. One of our main objectives with this contract was to reduce overtime costs, also to become competitive with the market for CNAs and for others in the nursing home field, which we're not competitive, which we've talked about. So that was one of our goals, which we accomplished. You'll see this on here. We got the increase for the starting rate. We also have an extreme usage of leave out there, which kind of adds to the overtime costs. We came to an agreement to reduce 2 PTO days for use out there at the nursing home in exchange for the wages. So again, it was a very mutually agreed upon contract. The members voted on it on Saturday and ratified it. They're also going to pay the spousal surcharge starting January 1, like non-bargaining unit employees. They will in turn receive the opt-out benefit that non-bargaining unit employees receive now in exchange for that surcharge. The elimination of the 15% insurance cap is also going to be gone by 2018, and we've agreed to offer a voluntary separation program for all employees with 10 years or more at a step 10 or higher. So all our objectives that we laid out in the beginning of the negotiations we have accomplished. I think Larry's happy. I know I'm happy. The members seem extremely happy. They voted it overwhelmingly to ratify it on Saturday. So we just need approval for the commissioners to adopt the changes, and then I will work with AFSCME to come up with final contract language. Once that's done, you will have a contract in front of you for the 3 commissioners to sign.
This is the only question I have is on the final bullet point, the voluntary separation plan. Since that's being extended to that, is there a specified time frame by which that has to be?
April 1st, 2016.
16. Okay, thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the tentative agreement with AFSCME?
So moved.
And I will second it. I just want to make a comment that with any contract, there's always give and take. And I know the last contract that was approved, there was a number of concessions that were made on the part of the employees, down at the nursing home. We all know that, we're trying to maintain the financial viability of our nursing home. And in any event, I think this is good for the employees and good for the county and good for the future of the Claremont Nursing Home. We'll also notice that part of this, I think part of this agreement and in the language is the fact that the Cumberland County agrees that it will not sell or transfer Claremont Nursing and Rehabilitation Center during the period of this contract, which is through December 31, 2018. Is that accurate? That's accurate?
Yeah, barring any unforeseen circumstances.
Quick comment?
Sure.
I just want to congratulate Liz for leading this effort. Ever since I got here, we've been in this situation making little to no progress on some of these key issues. I think we took a step back to look at the broader picture, which allowed the whole issue of the spousal surcharge on insurance to be subordinated to other things. And I think a complete package is put together that I think responded not only to the union's reasonable requests and needs, but also clearly moved us in the direction of helping to ensure that the facility remains financially viable, knock on wood, and that the issue of overtime management, I think we have a lot more tools in our toolbox now to do that more effectively. So, and I know Liz invested a lot of her personal time in developing the kinds of relationships with the union leadership down there that I think, there's always bumps, but I think that there was a relationship that was built that was conducive to developing trust, and I think eventually helped lead to
I understand. I think this is a very admirable result, and I would like to extend my thanks to the management team, Liz and Larry in particular, for their hard work on this. This is a significant improvement over where things have stood in the past.
Thank you.
Okay. We vote on the motion yet? Okay. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And the tentative agreement is approved. Okay. General disbursements, transfers, authorizations. Is there a motion to approve those? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. I'd like to report, there were executive sessions. Executive sessions on November 19th, 2015 at 10:15 a.m. and November 23rd at 3:35 p.m. regarding personnel matters. I'd also like to acknowledge receipt of the monthly report from the orthodontary for the month of October. Is there any other business to come before the Board of Commissioners this afternoon? I would just like to make one comment. Just came back from the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania Conference that started on Saturday, and I will tell you that there is a high level of consternation among our county commissioner colleagues from throughout Pennsylvania with respect to this prolonged state budget impasse. And as we know, here at the county level, and throughout Pennsylvania at the county level, we've been trying to manage things through this crisis to make sure that the services that people, some very critical services, are continued to be delivered. It was made very clear at the conference that some of our counties are having an extremely difficult time, and it's only going to get worse in continuing to do what we've been doing. The board, the CCAP board met on Saturday. I'm a member of the CCAP board in the fact that I'm a chairman of a committee, and this came up for significant discussion, clear sentiment among everybody that this has got to come to an end, and that our counties and those vulnerable citizens that we serve and our local taxpayers must be made whole after this whole process is over, because some of these counties, some of the counties have already started to borrow money. But it's not just about, it's not just about the county government. It really comes down to, services to children who are abused and neglected, and whether they're going to be able to continue to receive those services. The fact that, here we are, 5 months into this process, the legislature passed last year something like 25, 26 laws that essentially increased our casework at Children and Youth Services anywhere across the state from 30% to 100% increase in the amount of work that's being added with our departments of Children and Youth Services. And it's also about protective services for older adults. It's about those who suffer from mental illness, intellectual and developmental disabilities, and we've got an epidemic with opiate drug abuse. And it seems as though that our legislators and the governor, I'm including everybody, there's no blame to go around here, but they don't seem to understand the seriousness of this situation. Now, what they did at our regular meeting, open meeting, we passed a motion authorizing the association's legal counsel to research the potential basis for litigation by the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania against the Commonwealth related to this impasse, and specifically to explore requiring the release of Commonwealth and federal funds for our essential services in the same manner that the state has used funds collected over the last 5 months to pay its own employees and to do whatever else it does. We don't think it's right, and it isn't right, that everybody else is getting paid, but we're not. So that's one of the areas that our solicitor is going to be examining. I'm talking about the solicitor of the County Commissioners Association. And also failing that, the motion also authorized the association council to investigate the legal ramifications to counties and county officials of the possibility of ceasing to remit the funds that we collect for the Commonwealth and keeping them here for our use until they start to reimburse us. Now, we're losing $3 million in reimbursement a month. I figure that's $15 million so far. And I know that, there's been a lot of talk about maybe trying to get something done here really soon, and I hope that actually does happen. But it appeared, this framework that was reached with a tentative agreement a couple of weeks ago seems to be very fragile at this point. But this is serious business, and so anyway, I just wanted to place those comments on the record. I think the message that I got from my colleagues, or our colleagues across the state, was that we're tired of being victims, and it's about time that we looked at what options and what choices that we might have as counties, because, and again, the emphasis is not so much on our cash flow issues as it is on the potential jeopardy of services to the people that we serve. So I don't have anything else to say. I don't know, Gary, whether you might have any comments.
I did just to make an observation on that. I didn't know you were going to bring that up, but we all were aware of the issues, so I'm not going to say I was surprised by it. The only item I would add to what you're saying, Jim, is I think it does go beyond simply the service recipients. The fact of the matter is that while during this impasse, service recipients have continued to receive services, and that is because of the active role of the county, this county and others have taken. At the same time, the true cost of this is borne by all citizens, because a lot of counties have had to bear significant carrying costs in terms of the borrowing that's involved, or merely the additional effort that has gone into managing the resources that we have on hand. So I think this truly does affect all citizens and not just service recipients. So because not all of these costs are going to end up being reimbursed by the state. That's a common mythology. There are costs here we are never going to recover, and that burden falls to us. It falls to our citizens as a result, and that is true of many counties as well. The only other counterpoint I guess I would make is in terms of this threat of legal action. I would hope that would come before the broader membership for consideration, other than just the CCAP board. The reason I say that is if we're going to proceed with pursuing additional legal action, I'm concerned that may simply deepen our problem of increasing the cost to the public. It may not lead to a resolution. Fundamentally, there are significant legal costs involved if you're going to take on that type of challenge. And I would hope all counties would have the grassroots involvement to determine whether that's a good route to go or not, and would base a decision on factual analysis. I'm of the mind that if you want to change the direction of the legislature, change the legislature. I'm not sure that the legal option is the best way to go.
Well, and again, this is just being researched at this point, but yeah, this was actually, it came out of the board meeting, but that was a motion that was approved by all of the members who were there. Now, I'm sure that if they would get involved down the road and actually taking specific action, back to of all the members. And you're right, in terms of the taxpayer cost. And one of the other concerns, and I'll just share this, is that apparently our request to take this issue called rebalancing off the table apparently is back on the table. And what that's about essentially is delaying our fourth quarter payment for children and youth into the next fiscal year. And that's about $170 million that they're potentially going to bump into the next fiscal year. And that could potentially, in a lot of counties we're talking about, that could potentially cause a significant real estate tax increase for essentially what is supposed to be a state-funded service under a needs-based budget for children and youth. And in addition to that, we're not hearing any positive signs with respect to where we are on the governor's proposal, which was to begin to restore the $85 million that was cut from various human service lines a number of years ago. We all know that we've got, increased services that we're providing, and these services are not for free. And I think, by and large, I think the counties across the state, including Cumberland and our staff here, need to be commended for the way we have been able to manage this in a way so that to minimize the impact on both those who deserve services and our taxpayers. But we can't keep this up forever. And the legislature needs to understand that. And not just the legislature, but the administration too. They need to get their heads together. They should be behind closed doors negotiating until they reach an agreement instead of taking time off. You know, so this is going to be interesting to see where we go from this point forward, because we're reaching a really critical point now. So, anyway, thank you. I don't have anything else to say. No other business. We'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.